Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here for another night of Dundee, and we have a lot to talk about as we are down to the final 5 of Dundee here. Back here with the queen of Hit or Quit. It's Jenny Autumn, Dundee.
Dundee, I will say, Dundee had me stressed tonight.
Oh my god,
I was feeling like Boston Rob ready to have one last pre-dinner banana, and I don't even like bananas. Okay,
hey, bad news. Yeah, yeah. Okay. No, you know what?
We're here.
It was nerve wracking, but I felt good. I felt good. I felt like, okay, I thought this was going to work out. We'll see. All right.
I had my reasons that I was calming myself out. I was like self-soothing during the very stressful Dondi game. But you know, there were moments where I got a little worried. I got a little stressed out, but we're here and everything's okay. There's still bananas.
All right, back with us, a guy whose favorite car is also the Prius. It's Chappell. Chappell, how are you? Dundee!
Look, I totally echo y'all's feelings about this episode. I was ready to come in here with a veil on, y'all. I thought it was over. I thought we were about to have like the funeral of Boston Rob. The emotions were starting to get to me. I said, damn, is this really how it ends? But luckily, we were saved. I'm so excited, man. Oh, man. Look, I've rooted for Boston Rob in the past on different games and stuff like that. But I think this episode might have been the most I've ever been pulling for Boston Rob since he was literally carrying his family on the back in that one challenge. You know, this was the moment.
Yeah. I mean, really, in terms of like the edit, like we've really got Dondi showing us, okay, Rob and Aaron are your heroes. Okay, Jordan's in the middle, and then really Night Owls are the villains. We really had and Jordan was sort of like the person to say like calling out like these are not my kind of guys, the Night Owls. And I think that, you know, you really got a little bit of sad sack Rob and Aaron, like you know, feeling like they're down and out. So I think that's, and look, I understand it. I get it, but I think the show is making you feel exactly how they want you to feel.
And that's fine. They're doing, if you know what, we don't have to take it too seriously. If they want to deliver it in a way to make me feel some type of way, they are doing it. It is working. I am like this close to being like, rig it for Rob. I don't even care anymore.
We're right there. Yeah.
Okay. They got me where they want me. So
sad to see. I have to say, Nick ends up going out here, and Chappell will be speaking tomorrow to Big Wick Nick.
Big Nick energy. It's time. You know, I was very sad. You know, I was kind of torn because I was very sad to see Nick go because of the villainous Night Owls. He's the least villainous one from this. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So his felt more like this is a game. It got kind of personal with the other ones. But for Nick, it always felt like, no, this is just a game. Him and Boston Rob are kind of cool, but also he doesn't want to lose to him.
Time.
Nick seemed like a great guy. You know, and even when I heard his story about, you know, like, I proposed to my fiance, and then now we're gonna go have a Tuscan wedding. I was like, oh, it's so bad that you have to go here because I need Boston Rob to stay. But it's not because I'm like some crazy Boston Rob fanboy. No. It's because the moment these people started fighting, I said, oh no, Nick, you're now the most boring Night Owl, and that means you have to go because as long as Stephanie and Amy and Boston Rob and Aaron are at it, no. I need that. That is why I watch reality TV. I don't watch reality TV for people's like, oh my God, if you want that, go watch The Bachelor. I came to watch people fight.
Jenny,
they do that there too.
Did you think that here we'd be final 5 of Dondi of it's Boston Rob and his little buddy against all the women, and you're rooting for Boston Rob and his buddy?
Listen, if this makes me a bad feminist, I am effing sorry, but not sorry, because no, I will say I'm like, Jordan has skyrocketed.
Yes,
and
queen,
a newfound respect. And at this point, even though they buried her in the edit for the first half of this season, I would be totally fine if it works out to be a Jordan win at this point. I agree with what you're saying, Chappell. Like, this for me was a bit of an emotional loss, but ultimately for the quality of television going forward. We still got a couple more episodes to go. Net win, net positive. I feel bad for Nick, but we got lots of drama.
I feel a little bad for Nick. Likable guy. He reminds me of my brother a little bit. So I feel a little bit bad. And Chappell's going to talk to him tomorrow. But Chappell, Nick made the most bonehead deal or no deal move ever. I can't believe it. How do you get it down to the last 2 suitcases and then not keep the case that he picked? How is he taking the deal in that spot? He said, number 9, I know it's not going to let me down. I know this is the case. I'm taking the deal. No, just say I'm going to keep my case. This is if 9's not going to let you down, you keep it.
Right on 9.
It was a like literally what Rob said. It's a dice roll at this point. The offer that was given was like perfectly between the 2 cases that were left.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, might as well, if you feel good about your case, then wouldn't that mean that you think your case is the higher value? That was confusing. But he said he's always wanted to say deal.
He wanted to say deal.
He just wanted to hit the button, I think.
Yeah, he wanted to press the button. But I want to press the button. You know, I too, right? I too have been like I was that kid, like, Ducky, go down the hole. Like, I was definitely pressing the button on the elevators. That was me. So I understood that little, woo, that's me every time.
We're going everywhere, baby.
Listen, if there's a red flashing button and you tell me not to press it, I'm damn it. Like, you made your bed, not me, okay? So I understood. But yeah, when it came to his logic, when he said, I feel good about this case has never let me down. It's number 9. It means something to me. It's important to me. I'm thinking, okay, so obviously ride the case out.
Keep the case.
But when he says, no, I'm going to go with deal, I was like, damn, I thought, what did he say the wrong word? Was he supposed to say? He obviously missed.
He pressed the button.
Yeah, but I was like, but maybe he thought that, but no, he was very sad. And like I said, that's I think that's why it was a little bit more somber too, because we know he had an emotional connection to the number. Which I mean, they all have emotional connection to the numbers, but he was like, somebody had passed. And it felt a little bit more
special. Besides, like, I have 3 kids.
Right, exactly. This is my mom's birthday. It's like, okay, cool. But I felt like we were given that, like, he felt that number was precious to him. So yeah, I am actually kind of interested to hear like why he decided to take the deal instead of just saying, maybe he didn't want the number to let him down. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe if he says no deal, right, and he has the number and it's the wrong number, he's like, ooh, that number actually did let you down. Sorry, you kept it.
But the number was letting him down either way.
But it wasn't the number's fault. This was his fault. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Jenny, is it possible that he had case number 9? It ended up he ended up taking the deal. That it was it really that case 6 is actually the real case number 9 if you turn it upside down.
Yeah. Well, we learned in this episode that things can really change depending on which orientation you're looking at things with Aaron and the map.
True.
So maybe he was having an upside down moment. He said, from my perspective, that was a 9. And maybe we need to run back the tapes. And he was given the wrong case. I don't know. Ask Aaron.
I can't believe these extra interviews are only 15 minutes. Because I do have a lot of questions for Nick, because Nick played he played a very fluid game. There was moments where he was with Rob, it seemed, and then next thing you know, he was with the Night Owls. He's never seemed like a villain. He's won a couple challenges. He finally got the chance to have his moment and play against the banker. So I feel like he's got a pretty well-rounded experience of Deal or No Deal Island. And he didn't get a purple edit like some people that we've seen come in and go out and even are still in the game. So yeah, I have a lot of questions for Nick. Can't wait to talk.
One of the more visible people. Yeah, Joe, and maybe Joe's favorite from the season invited Joe to dinner at his house. We'll have to see if Joe took him up on this.
If I were Nick and I got, the treatment from Joe that I got at the end there, where you could tell he was like sincerely upset and had such an affection for Nick, like, I would treasure that footage for the rest of my life because it was so darling and lovely. And again, I talk about this like pretty much every week, but that is one of my like little side favorite things about this show is Joe as a host and how I think he's really enjoying it. And really enjoys the characters, and the interactions with them is really, really fun. And I thought that that was also a special thing that I felt like in terms of reactions to someone being eliminated, I think this was the biggest heartbreaker for Joe yet. And I need to know what kind of dinner did they have? When was it? Is he invited to the wedding? Has the wedding happened yet? Like, Chappell, these are all the questions.
Yeah.
Like,
listen, if I had the moment to talk to Joe, I would have so many questions, but that would never happen. So I'm going to focus all my attention on Nick.
If only, literally.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something we were talking about last week on the podcast. Chappell, you had staked your claim last week on the podcast. Aaron is a bad ally. Rob needs to lose Aaron.
Yes.
And I said, I don't know about that.
I was right.
This episode.
Apologize.
And I said, boy, Chappell was making a lot of sense.
I think Aaron is loyal, and I think Rob flags it in this episode. He says, I didn't think I had room for any more friends. This is one of my new friends. Aaron's a part of the Rob family now. He's one of them. And I was like, man, I really love this. Comma but.
He said that after, to be fair, I think. If the edit.
And look.
I know.
I wasn't saying Aaron ain't loyal, even though he wasn't, because he was not.
Not always.
He was not loyal to Rob.
Somewhat loyal.
Loyal-ish.
To a point.
To an extent. But also, I mean, not the most trustworthy because of his lack of loyalty, obviously. But then also, like, pretty useless in the challenges. And I'm not saying, like, I'm not going to ever say that I would be good at any of these challenges. Dear God. But at the same time, there are definitely times where Rob needs somebody who is comparable to step up, because these are team challenges. And there's just Rob's will to win, which we have seen has just propelled him through reality show after reality show. Just the sheer urge to, like, I will burst through the wall like the Kool-Aid man rather than lose this game. It does not work if you have somebody on the other side who cannot just pull up their little bit of the extra. And for a second, I thought he busted through another wall, because when he grabbed the case, and I thought it was 5 million. I was like, he still did it. It wasn't 5 million.
Well, it was 5 million. It was just
3.5. Yeah.
No,
exactly.
he got the 5 million.
Yeah,
it was the problem was that then he went into it with the understanding that it was not 3 or 5 million. And then I think that impacted their strategy from there on.
Yeah.
But I mean, Aaron's a wonderful friend, not the best soldier. You know what I mean? Like, he's a guy you want in your corner, but maybe not in situations where you're going to this kind of pseudo war here.
Right, exactly.
It was the double whammy, really, with Aaron in this episode, where Rob and him are teamed up. Now, I missed it. I feel like I looked away for a secon, and they were in the teams. Did they pick their partners? Okay,
yeah, they did.
So they picked. I don't know why. Okay, and it starts off. It looks good. Where Aaron opens the box. He's got the key. He gives Rob the keys. Rob's off in the ATV. Everything is going great until Aaron inadvertently, for some reason, changes the channel of the walkie-talkie and now loses radio communication with Rob. I'm not sure why one would touch the channel selector on a walkie-talkie once you are already on
Did
right
they show
channel?
him switching it though, or did they just explain? Because I only noticed the explanation at the end when
they just were like, okay, maybe Rob is out of distance, and then at the end he's like, oh, I changed the
like 10
connection.
channels on here. Oh my God.
And I don't know how Rob didn't strangle him at that moment.
Rob has 3 kids.
Until maybe watching
4 kids. 4 kids.
Yes.
Yeah. And Jonathan from Survivor 42. So he knows how to, he has patience. He's this kind of thing.
He's a more forgiving guy than in his early days of reality TV.
Yeah.
And then also Rob gets the case, says, okay, I got the second case from the right. And then Aaron looks at the map and says, okay, 3.75 million. He's like, okay, all right.
We're in the lowest.
That's good. Yeah, this is good.
You don't have to
this
do
is
anything.
Good.
Yeah, we're good.
And then he cannot read the map correctly, which ends up like maybe they play that different, sort of like the which case do you steal? Maybe Rob says something different. Not sure if he actually could have done anything different. But
and it could have been so much different. Like there's it's not like Aaron instructed him like to get that case specifically. Rob got lucky in a way, grabbing on his own accord the 5 million, and it just so
Kool-Aid Man
happened that they miscommunicated what case that was, and that potentially impacted the strategy from them. But there was only so much you could do, like.
Because we see Fancy Fincerton Jordan being like, hey, does anybody want to tell us anybody want to talk to me about which case we should steal? And Robin and Aaron are like, nope. There's not really much we can say because, regardless of what happens, based on the fact that he got that case, the $3.5 million case, there's nothing they can do. Like we're in the bottom and you can't stop us. We're going to be the ones to make. Ooh, I'm sorry, 5 million. Sorry, guess you should have said take our case.
Because they have to say in that instance, like take our case. We got the 5 million.
Yeah. I want to go through the entire competition in more detail, but just on the Rob and Aaron of it all, like Chappell. Later on in the episode, Rob says about Aaron, about how, that as Jenny mentioned, he has a lot of friends. He didn't realize that he needs Aaron. Aaron's changed Rob. What did you make of that?
Well, you've talked about it yourself just now. In the past, we have not seen Rob really connect with his allies in this kind of way. Like, don't get me wrong, he gets some really strong connection with some allies, even marries them sometimes. But there's also been times where we've seen his allies thrown to the wayside and their reunion specials drunk. Oh my God, I thought we were friends. And Rob's like, okay, bye, counting his money. And we've seen that multiple times. And so this time it really looks like Rob's like, I'm down and out. I'm with Aaron, but he's like, I'm not willing to throw Aaron under the bus. Like, there's so many cutthroat moves that we've seen that Rob has in his arsenal. And he's like, no, I'm actually just going to ride this one out. Me and you versus the world. What's up? Because the old Rob would have had an alliance with Jordan by now, would have worked something out with Amy to where it's like, okay, go after Aaron first. We see none of that from Rob. And so, I really think that, there's something about his partnership with Aaron. Because, again, Aaron has not been the most loyal to him. If Rob betrayed Aaron, I'd say, it's fair game. You were willing to throw Rob under the bus for Alyssa, but he just won't do it. And so I'm like, this feels like a different Boston Rob.
Well, and also he acknowledges something in that confessional where he says, I quickly realized in this game that I don't need to, like really backstab people, blindside people, and really like aggressively vote them out. And that really changed my strategy here. And I think that it's like, it gave him permission to like play a little bit more emotionally and not like turned off that part of him that he would need to in a game like Survivor where, it's important to make relationships and also be able to break them. And in this case, especially because of his position in the game and his like reputation coming into it and where he found himself really quickly, he kind of had permission to just have his back against the wall, find the few people that he felt really good about, and he didn't really have to do much beyond that besides just win. And this is kind of like what I was asking about when we talked to him before the season started, where it's like, the luck portion of it, the part of like, there's only so much you can do. And, it comes down to a game of somewhat probability luck sort of thing. And a single person can be responsible for your demise. Does that take some of the pressure off? And I really think that we're seeing this in action in his game where he's like, you're right, Chappell. Like, if this was a different type of game, he would be like making alliance, final twos or whatever with Jordan. He would have had all of them. He would have been, masterminding things a lot more. And that's why it's like so frustrating to see how they talk about him and how he's playing this game. And it's like, he's not even playing the game like this. He's actually just like figured out which people actually want to work with him, built a relationship with Aaron, and had some other smaller relationships that went earlier, and he's just living his life. And so I think that's like really interesting to see, and that's why we're seeing like the villain become like the hero in this story, because he's actually been given the space and opportunity to play that kind of game because of the kind of game it is, if that makes sense. Sorry for the rambling. I know I did that.
No, I agree.
it's been just this really interesting ride where that Rob has taken on like this foster parent role of like being Aaron's guardian in some way, shape, or form on Deal or No Deal Island. It would be very, very interesting if this ends up being the final two. If like how Rob like approaches that final competition, like if we do get down to that standpoint, I don't know if we will get there, but like. There's a lot here in this relationship between Rob and Aaron from the moment that they started on that 4x4 coming into the game and like everything that they've been through to get to this point.
Yeah, I've rooted for Aaron since episode 1, minute 1. I was like, that's the guy who I want to see do well in the game. I want to see him go far. And very quickly, he identifies Boston Rob as somebody like he knows his game. He's like, all right, I'm gonna work with Boston Rob. Boston Rob's kind of like, hey, this kid doesn't know what he's getting himself into. Like, I'm Boston Rob. What are you doing? It's all right, but we've seen this over and over again. I think we came on this podcast and we're like, tell us all the time. He's found his person. Like, here we go. We're about to see the things. But to Jenny's point, Rob has identified that the strategy of backstabbing people and taking out their closest allies is not great for this game, because the moment you do it, you're now pretty much a wide open target. Like, you don't get to build alliances of teams that will automatically be able to get out who they want just because they have the numbers. Because we'll see that even if you have the numbers, you could still be the one eliminated. And so it's like, why go and make enemies when we see that somebody who's probably playing the optimal strategy right now is Jordan. She sat in the middle. She is not pissed off anybody. Nobody wants to target her. She hasn't targeted anybody. So they don't have any reason to they don't have a get back. Like, oh, she came after my alliance, so I can come after their alliance. She targeted me, or I heard she was going to backstab me, so I'm going to backstab her. She's done nothing of the sort. And she's been saying it from the beginning. I'm just trying to hang out in the middle. I don't want to draw any attention to myself, because when the side starts shooting, I don't want to be the one to shoot. And so, yeah, Rob is like, yeah, I don't want to make anybody want to shoot at me, because I only get one shot myself. And that shot has a 50% chance of backfiring on me. So, yeah, hanging out with Aaron, riding it out. This is the new wave for this Rob. And I kind of like it. Now, do I agree that Rob is probably like a hero in the story? Probably not. I still be watching production ever since Heroes versus Villains, where they're like, oh, look at Russell being a villain, but Rob was the hero on the villain tribe. I'm like, really? Sure. Like that kind of thing. That's like the editing trying to tell you a story. But I think here we kind of see like, no, I think this is a different type of Rob, and I really like it.
Okay. In the beginning of the episode, we saw that there was the 3 remaining night owls after Dawson ended up going home. Great interview Chappell had with Dawson the other day. And so that the night owls say like, hey, need a new night owl. Hey, Jordan, guess what? You're going to be the Dawson replacement.
Bottom of the alliance. Welcome, Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I was screaming. Like, this made me so mad, because I don't know why people do this. And even seeing Amy's fellow allies, like, essentially jokingly calling out what, like, absolute lack of bedside manner she had in this situation, where she straight up tells Jordan, hey, we've had an alliance without you. And not only does she insinuate you're just gonna take over Dawson's spot, she literally says you're actually just gonna take over for Dawson. Like,
she's keeping it real.
Sure. But is this the place to keep it real?
No.
To let somebody know we didn't care about working with you and bringing you in on our plans before, but we realize that we need you as a number now that we've lost Dawson. So you are our next choice against the 2 people we're clearly working against. Like, there could have been literally another person and they would have chosen like them before Jordan. That was the only option left, and they didn't make it seem like she was special or important or needed whatsoever. And I was screaming watching this. And even Stephanie is like, why are you the way you are? She said that to Amy. Stephanie is asking, why are you the way you are? When Amy is doing this terrible job of trying to recruit Jordan to their alliance. Ugh.
A wise man once said, girl, bye. It looked like it was just one of those moments where this would be a strategic error in any other show we watch. It's like, you don't tell the person at the bottom of the line, stay at the bottom of the line. Like, please read the BR rules. The man wrote them. He's on the island with you. Ask the man a question or two. God, But you don't tell them because yeah, exactly. But you don't tell them they're last. You say, Jordan, oh my God, we were sitting here talking and we were like, okay, what if we came up with an alliance? We were like looking for, it's like we need to do something to push us to the end. What if you wanted to be like in our, like, what if you, the three of us came together right now and we'll go get maybe a fourth person, maybe we'll go get Stephanie, I don't know, and we'll be the Night Owls. Let's just call them the Night Owls because you like owls, right? And she's like, yeah. They're like, yeah, cool. That's our alliance. Like, it's me. You're the one. I'm 2. They're 3 and 4. Don't worry about them. They're on the outskirts, but it's us. We're the core. You're supposed to make her feel like she is the most important part of this group. So she's not thinking, well, damn, I'm at the bottom of this alliance. Maybe after they take out Aaron or Rob, I'll take out one of them and then see what they do, because then they're still forced with whether Aaron or Rob is there and me. But you did it. You told her you're dead ass last. You're dead ass last. And if we have to start picking people off, you're first to go. And that just, it's just like, my social strategy heart was just like beating out my chest. What are you doing?
Yeah. But we're looking at this like from a Survivor, from a Big Brother. Is the pecking order as important on Dondi? Yes. Like, really?
It does. Because we're gonna get down to the if you are Jordan and you are agreeing to join this alliance and actually truly planning to ride it down to 4. And next 2 targets are Rob and Aaron. We get them out in that order if we can. You know that we eventually have to start taking out each other, whether it's because, like, either you're choosing who goes into the bottom, or we've run out of targets of the other that we've created here. And that has been an interesting part of this. That's been the one thing I had been waiting for with the Night Owls, is that, like, okay, well, they're gonna have to start eventually gonna have to turn on each other. If you're actually going to choose to go down to 4 with these people, you know that these people already had a previous relationship with each other. They chose to work with each other before you. So if they have to they might like you and think you're great, but you know that they're going to make the hard decision to take you out before Nick, before Stephanie, before Amy.
Jenny, before Aaron, because let's just call it what it is. When Rob goes
in challenges, exactly.
When Rob goes, they're gonna be looking at Aaron and they're gonna be like, Aaron's next. And then if any of them have a thinking bone in their brain, any of them, they're gonna be saying, wait a minute, pause.
Jordan's been.
Why would I go to the end with Nick? I mean, RIP Nick. But why would I go to the end with Stephanie when Aaron's right there? Like, what if I just shot at Stephanie this time? What if Stephanie is the one what if she just happens to not do the deal or no deal? That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, and then Jordan, of course, like at the bottom of this pecking order, if someone has to go, you're the first one that they're going to look at saying, Jordan's pretty good at challenges, right? We've seen that. With the little bit we've seen of Jordan is that she's pretty good at challenges. She hasn't made any enemies. No one else is going to target her. And Aaron is right there just begging for me to beat him in the final 2 competition in a walkie-talkie foot race in archery.
Yeah, they've all actually been saying, like, I want to go to the final 2, whatever that is, with Aaron, because I can beat him in a physical challenge. He's the person I can beat. I completely agree. Like, if Nick had not made a bad deal tonight and Rob gets eliminated here, I 100% believe that they say Aaron is lost. You saw how he was when he lost Alyssa. He lost Rob. He's done. He's got nothing and he can't hold his own in the challenges. We have to worry about Jordan now. And I do think that Jordan gets taken out before Aaron if they have gotten down to 5 like that.
So I guess what I'm saying is that, like, sure, the approach was bad, but even if they had the best approach ever, going to her to be a part of a 4-person alliance doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, maybe like
final 2.
Somebody could have made a final 2. Yeah, somebody
should have done individual things. Yes. Or even like they didn't have to talk about it as a group and be like, we're all gonna individually, like, if you're Amy, if you're Stephanie, if you're Nick, and you see, like, it's important that if Jordan does end up in that banker, like, in that Dondi position where you're playing the game, that I'm not someone that she's looking at first, and you make that one-on-one relationship. They're saying, well, we need the numbers advantage. It's like, Well, you know that Jordan's not with Rob and Aaron anyway. So you don't even necessarily like need to pick her up and be like, now we have this clear 4 against 2. And like they did such a bad job with it that it was worse than just leaving things the way that they were, where it was like 3-2-1 and like Jordan's kind of floating in the middle of already a lopsided number. And that was what drove me crazy about it. It was like, you don't even need to do this. You did too much. And now this girl knows where she stands with you and she does not respect you. She will play nice. And we've seen her do it. And she did it masterfully. And I love it. But
it's not even the most egregious thing. Jenny, it's not even the most egregious thing. The most egregious thing is that you brought this person into the 4-person alliance and put them at number 4. And then when she tried to work with you in an alliance, you denied her the entire challenge. She's like, so night owls. She's on the walkie-talkie like, night owls. Night owls. It's Jordan, night owls. Come in.
Go ahead. Come in. Yeah.
Jordan, night owls. Please. Mayday. Run the numbers. And Stephanie's like, okay. Like it was just so bad. I said, what is happening? You put her at the bottom of the alliance and then treated her like she was at the bottom of the alliance. If I'm Jordan, I'm rooting for Nick to go home, low key. And I'm like, oops, that's crazy. And then I'm hoping that Robert Aaron takes one of you out. And then guess what? I might take one of you out too, because y'all don't care about me. Yeah, if y'all cared about me, y'all would have worked with me during this thing. I was like, they just completely fumbled this all together. And this was like I said, I've always been rooting for Aaron. He's just like my number 1. But now I'm like, I'm kind of anti-night owls finally. Like I finally got there. Like,
welcome.
All right, now I need y'all to take y'all's down. Now we're looking for the downfall here. Hootie hoo,
Hootie hoo. Hootie boo.
Hootie boo.
Boo.
Hootie
boo.
boo.
This alliance.
Boo this alliance.
Let's talk about the excursion for this week. It's an ATV excursion. Aaron was not happy. I hate ATVs.
I love my Prius.
Love his favorite car is a Prius. Do they even make the Prius anymore, Chappell?
Why you ask me? Do you think I've actually seen a Prius?
Chappell's got a big truck. Like he's got Amy's husband's.
What, you don't see any Priuses right in Texas?
Not in the part of Texas I live in. I drive a 4-door pickup truck, and everyone else does too. Sorry.
Gas, baby, gas.
Look, I am broke,
oil country.
but the truck is loud, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It looks like the Prius is still out there.
Okay, so I have a question, and my visual memory is going to fail me here. But what did they ride in on in the initial episode? Because Aaron said that he'd rode in an ATV once, and it was an anxiety-inducing experience. And I swore that they were in some sort of like ATV, like off-road type vehicle in the opening like scenes of Dondi when him and Rob meet. What was that? What were they riding in? Was it?
I think they were literally like in a Jeep type feel.
Okay,
right? Like, I don't think it was an ATV. Yeah, okay. ATVs are all.
I just remember it was like open. It was like a golf cart or some sort of like.
I feel like it was more like a Jeep than a
more like
ATV.
a Jeep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man,
then,
Chappell, check out these Priuses.
Where would my legs go? Like when you ride it, is it like the Flintstones where you just like put your feet in the bottom and you just like take off running up?
I don't think.
It looks like Dino's about to pop his head out and like I don't know.
Yeah.
You could flip it with a Brontosaurus burger or something.
How many Priuses do you think Aaron's gonna get if he can take home this $8 million?
Don't you think you got to upgrade from Prius at that point? Like if you get $8 million, like. Is Prius like the nicest compact car that you can get, or is it like
not
a
if
Tesla
it's your favorite car
on it?
I was gonna say, do you just get a Tesla? Well, because Prius isn't like the same as a Tesla, because Tesla like can be self-driving, right? Whereas like a Prius is just like a green vehicle, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cars.
Yeah.
Did he say he had a Prius or that it was his favorite car?
I think
I think it's
both. I think it's both.
Yeah. Oh, he has his favorite car, which is a Prius. My favorite car actually wasn't my pickup truck until recently, so I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's living great if he already has his favorite car.
Right. It did, because then he can get another one if he wants. But why? Just nicen up the one you have. Yeah, you get a different color, get a wrap.
It's like, but then you have to change what if he wants to change it with his mood, like a mood ring? He's like, I'm feeling Reservoir Blue today, or Guardian Gray.
Reservoir Blue. We do love Res Blue.
Chappell, Aaron also said that the ATV is basically the opposite of a Prius. Do you buy that?
It seems that way, yeah. Prius is like a no-terrain vehicle, and ATV would be, by definition, an all-terrain vehicle.
I feel like the opposite of a Prius is sort of like,
Chappell's
a huge giant truck.
No, because trucks be all-terrain too. Like my truck, I could go mudding in my truck if I wanted to. I will not, because
no,
what? But
then
I could.
Doesn't
is
that the opposite of the Prius?
I mean, it's pretty close. I mean, I feel like an ATV is further on the scale than a truck. Like, I think they're pretty close though. Like, truck and ATV are probably touching somewhere on whatever that scale is between Prius.
Like an ATV is like a baby truck.
Yeah, but they're like feisty. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a baby, like if you don't want a real truck, you get an ATV. It's more like that truck is kind of like, it's like for the people who don't, they're too edgy for real trucks, so they go and they do the most. Yeah, definitely like, less safe for sure.
Now, is a Prius, in terms of like non-off-roading type or capable vehicles, is it on the safer end? Like, what's the safety capabilities of a Prius?
I think it's pretty safe.
Because then I think if you're saying like Prius is pretty safe and ATV not very safe, then I think ATV becomes more of the opposite, because I think you still feel pretty safe in a truck, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's like a tank. Like I'm sitting up off the ground by a lot. I can see over everybody's car. I could run over people's cars if I want to. I could run over that Prius. I tripped over one on the way in.
All right, let's talk about the rules of this game. Okay, you have your partners. Okay, basically, I think you want to be the top, or you want to be a bottom. You don't want to be mid.
Don't want to be a side. No one respects it.
Yeah. So really, of the three spots, okay, either go for immunity, or at least control your own fate by being able to play against the banker and controlling who goes home. But really, the worst spot was to be the sitting duck in the middle. There's 2 red cases, and so I was a little confused about. We see Rob and Aaron. They go for a red case. Why didn't Boston Rob, especially when he did not have any information, when he's on radio silence from Aaron, wouldn't the best move have been to get the second red briefcase?
You're only allowed to get one. Okay, teams were only allowed to get. So there were 2 rules. One was teams could only take 1 red case, so you couldn't get 2 red cases, and you also had to. There were 2 trails. Was it called trail or whatever
Paths,
it was? Path, and like, so they had 2 different areas where briefcases existed, and you actually had to get one from each place. Like, you couldn't just go and get 2 of the briefcases from the same spot.
Area. Right.
So those were the 2 rules that were in place there. So for Rob, in the situation where he's like, we either need to be in the power position or in the bottom, the best move, and there's only 2 red cases with 3 teams. I agree with his move of go for the red case first. Make sure you get one, because it's going to be helpful for either end. I mean, ultimately it didn't end up working out, but with the information you have, like, I think that is the best move.
Yeah, there was definitely power in being in the bottom for sure, and so they wanted that. They wanted to be in that position. But again, if you have to pick one, that steal can really like propel you into that first position if you want it, right? And so that like get this. But if you don't get the steal, get the lowest number. You know what I'm saying? I like it. I like that the players are also thinking along those lines. Like the show really showed us the strategy sessions, as quick as they were, where Rob and Aaron immediately like, okay, the bottom or the top. And then everybody else like, okay, I want immunity. Okay, cool. Well, we got to keep them from getting in the middle. It was fun seeing the strategic side of everybody.
Yeah.
And this could have worked out like really well. What was interesting about how this all played out is that like you essentially have 4 against 2. And it perfectly works out that way because they were able to choose their teams. So if the Night Owls could just decide to not be selfish here and do everything they can to share information as much as possible and make sure that no matter how things worked out, they could make sure that Rob and Aaron end up in the middle, which is where they want, then they would have no problem. But because we got a little greedy about who didn't want to put themselves at risk by being at the bottom and potentially making a bad deal and going home, and who wanted to be safe and not even have to worry about that, that's where things got a little messy. And if Rob had brought back the case he thought he brought back, this is totally different. And they screwed up. And then, would it have been Stephanie and Nick that were in the middle? Yeah, it would. So if Rob had brought back the case that he thought he brought back, then they like fumbled the bag where they had 4 people that could have been sharing information, working together. So I thought that made it fun. Like, you're already seeing the cracks here. So I mean, it's like there's only so much you can do without knowing exactly what everyone else has. But I just thought it was really funny because like this could have been so much worse for Rob and Aaron if the other 4 actually worked together and just said, you guys are going to be safe. We're going to be in the bottom. You guys go do this. You go do this. And then they just could have like completely planned it. But Stephanie said, I want to get a little greedy here. Nick said, I want to be safe too. Let's like, let's play a little differently here. And Jordan saw that. She said, shady.
It was a fun moment also in terms of like, okay, well, which of the red cases was the red case that was the steal, and which one was the one that had the low dollar value? And Aaron described this as the Princess Bride problem, which seemed to really strike a chord with Joe Manganiello.
Yeah, he did. Like, did he not do like a little scene? Like he did like a reenactment. I forget the sequel.
Yeah. Chappell, you know the Princess Bride?
No.
Oh, okay.
So it's funny because I've also not seen it, but I'm familiar. Yeah. I don't watch a lot of movies. I don't know why you guys are shocked. Chappell, it should be more shocking that Chappell hasn't seen it because Chappell actually watches things. But I know one of the actors from The Princess Bride because of
Carrie Elways?
Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
Gotham is a Gossip Girl of all places. But Joe does like his little like reenactment, and I could hear who he was doing. So that's how you know Joe is a professional.
Yes,
because I knew the character he was doing without even seeing the movie.
In The Princess Bride, that there is a guy who is supposed to be like the smartest guy ever. I believe his name is Fazzini, and that he ends up getting engaged in a standoff with the Dread Pirate Roberts. That Dread Pirate Roberts says he has 2 cups. One cup has the poison in it, and he puts the cups in, and he's trying to outsmart the smartest man in the world. And the smartest man, Fazzini, is going back and forth of that. There's like, he goes and really gets like, well, only an idiot would choose the cup that was put in front of him, when I know that you would, but only an idiot would put the cup of poison in front of himself because he knows that I wouldn't take it. And then they go round and round and around. And that's what they're referencing, which Joe Manganiello, probably a big movie buff.
Yeah. Look, he went to Carnegie Mellon.
Aaron's a big princess buff.
Yeah, between the 2 of them.
Anything with princesses.
Yeah. And Nick is buff. You know, we cover all corners of this thing.
Nick is just buff.
Yeah, and has a bride, you know. Look, Joe Manganiello was telling us all along, like, look, I went to film school, okay? I went to a school with a great film program, Carnegie Mellon. Nick's like, I don't know her. Never, nope. Yeah, nope.
And there's a Dread Pirate Robert, and there's also a Robert Mariano.
There you go. So much overlap. I gotta watch this movie now.
The parallel.
The chat's going wild. They know I haven't seen it. I'm sorry. Look, I'm not a big movie person but I love TV. Don't get me wrong. But like you have to recommend a movie for me to go watch it. I'll just say it like that. I just watched what's the movie? The Lady. It's fashion. It's the woman Meryl Streep.
Prada.
Yeah. I just watched that like in December for the first time. I was like, hey, this is cool. It was like 3 a.m. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It was, but like again, someone had to say, go watch it. And I was like, okay.
Movies are a commitment. I think that it's like, because it's like you're in it for the long haul. Whereas I don't know. It's a
like
different kind of
42
attention.
minutes. Get in, get out.
Yeah.
In and out.
If movies could be more like Dondi, then we'll talk.
Okay.
But I will say, props to Joe, because I've literally not seen this movie, but he did the voice so well that the actor is Wallace Shawn.
Yeah.
Inconceivable. Yeah, he did a great job. It was a cute little moment. Again, I love these little moments where Joe is having his little bants with the contestants. Love it. Very fun.
All right. Let's talk about after the challenge, because we go back and the Night Owls are gloating. Oh my God. Rob is so stupid. Oh, can you believe it? What do you think him and Aaron's alliance name is? Amy says Dumb and Dumber.
Got him. Well, actually, Amy, for a second I was like, they didn't name their alliance, but then I was
it's
like,
called
yes,
the Boston Brains. Okay, not Dumb and Dumber.
Actually, the opposite of being Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're losing Jordan. They're talking so much smack. They feel personally victimized by Boston Rob Mariano. And his friend
Chappell?
Aaron.
Oh, I thought we were supposed to raise our hand if we felt
personally victimized. You were saying, do I feel?
Yeah.
I thought the question was coming. My bad.
You are not victimized by him because he's just living his freaking life and eating bananas and having good luck, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of luck, I talked about this. Oh, no, don't get me wrong. We throw out a lot of different scenarios here because this is what we do on a podcast. It's about talking this stuff through. A couple podcasts ago, I was saying, hey, I really don't think making it to the end is that much of a stretch for either Rob or Aaron, just based on the structure of the game. You're right. You could be safe. Then if you're not safe, you could be in the bottom. And then if you are in the bottom, you could get win deal or no deal. And if you lose deal or no deal, you go home. But if somebody else is in the bottom and they lose, they can go home, or they could pick one or you or Rob to make it. And I was like, look at this. We're one step closer. One step closer. We did it again. How?
Yeah, I mean, it was looking particularly bleak. I think 2 weeks ago when it seemed like, okay, the Night Owls were fully constituted. There was 4 of them plus Jordan. It looked bleak that Alyssa had just left. Aaron was checked out. So it did not look, it was maybe darkest before the dawn, where then now, who would have thought now with a firm majority besides Chappell, 2 Night Owls in a row, and the two most physically imposing of the Night Owls at that, in Dawson and Nick, go out back to back. Pretty
Rob's
good.
Biggest physical competition for sure.
Yeah, pretty good considering that, neither of those boots even came at the hands of Rob or Aaron.
Yep.
The hands are clean, baby. He's just living his life, eating bananas, or if they're there,
attempting to eat bananas. Yeah,
I knew it. I felt it in my soul. I was just like, y'all, I was like, we've got all our eggs in one basket right now. And listen, there's so many outs. We have so many outs to get them to this point, because now, based on the strategy that Rob and Aaron are playing, it's a race for the bottom. Everybody is going to be trying to make sure that they're the ones who get to go up against the banker, so that Rob or Aaron can't just randomly fire into the crowd and pick one of the Night Owls. And so they're like, I have to be the lowest one. And Rob and Aaron know that they have to be the lowest one. So essentially, by either being the lowest, which is what they would want, or winning immunity, they have 2 ways of avoiding somebody just picking them and eliminating them. This is a great scenario for them.
Rob winning out in these competitions, I think, is a very likely scenario now, considering that Dawson and Nick are off the board. I mean, you have a competition where it's like, okay, run into the jungle, go get the briefcases. Like, who's going to beat Rob at that?
Now take that and add, who is Aaron ever going to beat at any of this stuff? So Aaron is probably going to be in the bottom if it's an individual challenge, and Rob could very well win immunity. Next round, we could see it be just Amy, Stephanie, and Jordan in the middle, just based off of people's skill sets, because we know Rob's good at these excursion challenges, and we know Aaron sucks at them all. And so, like, based on that, we actually might have a week or two. Look, this is good.
I don't know. We're going to wait another week to get to the next episode.
I know.
I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
I can't wait. I can't wait, because I feel like, as much as there were parts of this ending that were a little bittersweet, I feel we're down to 5. The fact that we are down to 5 and Rob and Aaron are both still there, like you said, Chappell, if Aaron finds himself in the bottom, whether it's because he didn't perform in the challenge or what have you, he's not, if he loses, or sorry, if he wins, if he beats the banker, even if Rob is not in power, he's not getting rid of Rob.
He's safe.
That's
He's
his guy
literally
now.
safe again.
Yeah.
Aaron can save Rob. The banker could save Rob. Rob could save Rob. Rob
Personal
can get
offers,
an immunity.
yeah.
Personal offer. Bro, we're
Yeah.
just throwing
many,
everything at the wall because we need these two in our finale. If it's like a finale of Rob, Aaron, Stephanie, and Amy, yeah, I need that. I need that randomness. I need that foolishness. I think Jordan can be bought. Banker, do your thing. Get her out of here.
And at this point, not to like read, like this isn't really reading into edit, but I mean, we've already said this. I don't think Rob is inviting Aaron to supper, as he said, if Aaron ends up being the reason that Rob does not win here. So I feel at least comforted that even though Aaron understands that Rob is like a dangerous person, it's a different kind of game. And I don't think that, especially the journey they've been on together, I think we are past the point of Aaron looking at Rob and taking a shot. I just don't think
I couldn't even imagine any
It's
scenario
not
where that happens. Yeah.
That would be wild. Now hold on. What if we're in a final three scenario and you got Aaron, he's beat the banker. You got Amy and you got Rob. I think about Aaron. I'm like, man.
I think Aaron at this
Amy
point
might be like a little tempted.
I think we're in Tony Wu territory at that point. That Rob is gonna sit Aaron down like, hey, we got to take out Amy. She's the biggest threat.
If he does,
and I also think there's a part of Aaron,
Amy's very. You don't know what she's up to.
She doesn't even want to risk letting.
She doesn't care
Amy
about
win.
you.
I think that we're gonna get to the. We're going to get to the point. And yes, the way that Amy has like kind of navigated things since the Alyssa, thing, I can see Aaron and Rob having this, if it's not me, I want it to be you. And it's like, as long as it's not them, as long as it's not Amy, as long as it's not Stephanie. And so even though Aaron can look at the board and be like, I have a better chance of beating Amy than Rob, I think that everything they've gone through at this point, he's going to have a hard time. Like, that's just what I think. Even if it's logically makes sense, but I just think that like where they're at now, and Amy's done him dirty. He's kind of she's danced on Alyssa's grave.
Too deep, bro.
And Aaron's an emotional like guy, you know what I mean? So I just don't think that he can do it at this point. I think there was a version of him that could have done it, but
he don't have it in him. You're right, but Jenny, what if he did? What if he did? Let's just talk about it. What if Aaron cut Boston Rob at the final three to go to the
I don't think he's coming to supper.
I'm just saying.
It would be wild.
But isn't that what we want as reality TV fans? We not Boston Rob obviously getting cut at the final three. That's crazy. But what I'm saying is like you want the person who is like, I see look, Rob said it best. Door number 1, I win the game. Door number 2, I lose the game.
Yeah.
Door number 2 makes it gives us a lot to
Aaron
talk
lose
about,
to Amy then? Because I don't like who wanted that.
Saying that if he well, I don't think he loses to Amy. I don't know. But who knows? We don't know what the final 2 thing is. But I'm just saying, if you have the chance to take out your biggest threat, I think as reality TV competition fans, we're like, take out your biggest threat. Like I understand obviously that there's a lot of emotion that goes into it, and these two are very clearly bonded, but it's the same thing as how like JT could go with Steven to the final 2 in Survivor Token Teams, but Steven probably shouldn't go with JT. It's like, I see why y'all would, but if you do, I'm judging you a little bit. Just a little bit.
I think there's just like enough of a luck component in this game that it's harder to feel good about making like the ruthless move against someone you actually truly care about, because you're like, I could have done that for what, and then just lost the game because of luck, and then both me and my friend end up with like no, like we both get screwed, and because I got selfish here, I handed the money to someone that I don't want to win. And I think that again, like I was saying before, kind of gives you permission to play the game like a little bit differently than you would play a game like Survivor or Big Brother or like one of these more like vote based social strategy type games. So I understand the logic of it, but also are you Aaron and you're like, I might lose to Amy too. And you know what? I'm in a losing finalist situation. I might not make it there. Maybe I will. Maybe something works out. But if it doesn't work out, I hope that Rob, my guy who didn't betray me, who rode with me to the end, is the one that wins. And I will feel good about that. And Alyssa will feel good. Do you imagine how pissed Alyssa will be if Aaron lets Stephanie or Amy win this game somehow with the decision he makes? I think he's got to be thinking about that.
Look, I totally agree with you that that's probably where we're going. If that was going to happen, that would obviously be that seems like the number one choice. But as far as like for competition kids, we're like, listen, yeah, that's your final two. Yeah, we know. But the win is right there. I mean, you say whatever you want. Yeah, he could lose to Amy, but also he could beat Amy. I don't think there's any competition where Aaron is beating Rob. I mean, Dawson made it seem like Aaron, intellectually, Aaron's got Rob beat.
He would have had to have beaten Rob in something.
Yeah.
No, he literally would have just had to let Stephanie and Jordan kill themselves.
Let someone eliminate.
The banker beat both of them, and then look, that's the exact scenario we're in.
I guess so. So you're saying that he has beaten the banker in the final three, and that he has to make a decision of who to.
He has to make a decision. Yeah, he needs to cut somebody. But but like I said, I understand the emotional component of this, and I understand that's probably what we would more likely see. But I think that we love to see the big moment where you're like, okay, it's us to the end. We're the hitmen. Wouldn't it be crazy if I cut you? That'd be wild. Like that.
I think
I think Rob would respect it. That's all I'm saying.
I actually I've kind of come around to the idea that I think that Rob, there is a part of Rob that would be like, you made me proud, kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you did it. Like, that's exactly what I would have done in your situation, guy. Like, you know what I mean? I can see it. I can actually literally hear it.
You're a man now.
So maybe he's grown such an affection for him that he does it, and he still invites him to supper, maybe. But I'm also looking at the situation, and I'm like, I don't think that Aaron necessarily would have been able to cut Alyssa, and Alyssa would have beaten him.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
He wouldn't have cut Alyssa. No,
that's
it's
different. Hard for me to imagine
that's
because I think that I think it was it would have been it would have been a different situation if Aaron had other relationships at this point that mattered to him. But he lost Alyssa, and everyone else betrayed him via the Alyssa thing, even though he was kind of like doing it first, but whatever. And I just think that for him, there's no other person that he's going to prioritize ahead of Rob at this point. And I do think that even though he is a smart, logical guy, that he's a softie too. He is riding on those emotions. But I will not say it's absolutely not happening. And I can see a little part where Rob does get betrayed ultimately by Aaron and still respects it and says, you did it.
Okay, we have a banker's temple to talk about, but first, pre-dinner bananas. Is this a thing?
Is banana the dessert there?
It's the appetizer.
But I'm saying when Rob suggested, because it's like they have this little talk about like, this could be our last night, like it's gonna be me.
Hey, how about a before dinner banana?
Yeah, and it was like this really sweet moment. And it was also cut with like Rob's confessionals about how Banana split it. How that he needed Aaron just as much as Aaron needed him. It was very sweet. And then we get this like, should we have a pre-dinner banana? And so I'm like, is he saying that because normally it would be a post-dinner banana? Or like, is that their dessert out there?
It would be downright depressing to sit and watch green bananas turn yellow without my debauch. Oh, wrong show. I think that I think that this was just one of those like character moments that I think the Rob and Aaron reality show duo, I think that if it continues in the same light, right? If we get a lot more of these moments, this would like if this had been 15, 20 years ago, this would be one of the duos he was known for. I think that because Dondi is not watched by all the like Survivor, blah, 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 the people that really,
not?
Yeah, right. What are you doing? But yeah, but I think that like, had you given us this earlier, this is like a Charlotte and Myrna like type friendship that we just talk about forever, or at least until people stop caring about the Amazing Race.
Yeah,
we'd be saying Rob and Aaron on Amazing Race for sure.
Literally, that was exactly what I was gonna say. Bring Rob back to Amazing Race, and this time he's bringing Aaron. Oh my god, what a mess that would be! And I would that actually would be what would bring me back to Amazing Race.
All right. Banker's Temple, baby. All right. It's Amy that says Joe is looking good today.
Wow. Okay, Joe.
And Joe is polite and returns the compliment because he's a gentleman.
But okay, the Night Owls are really, they've got their sights set on Boston Rob. Okay, that's the move. We're going for Boston Rob. That's what Rob would do. Gonna take out Rob. But we get into did not see this coming. A little bit of a brouhaha here. Maybe Rob has got that banana high.
They didn't have the banana. Maybe he's low in potassium.
Yeah, low on potassium. And so he gets into it with Stephanie about there's a little bit of a debate. Did Rob ever target Nick?
I mean, it's not a debate. Stephanie's just downright lying. She's just outright lying. She is lying. She told us already. She's like, look, I'll make up a lie. It'll be a good lie or whatever, blah, blah. But it doesn't. It's not, it's one of those moments where this is brought up in front of everybody, and Rob can basically just be like, no, I did not say that. And then it's Stephanie's word versus Rob's word. And then there's a moment where Stephanie even tries to flip it and be like, Aaron, what about you? Why don't you say something for once? And I was like, there you go. That's how I know you're caught. Because Rob watches all this happen. And he's just like, no, Nick and I have a good relationship. There's no point in me targeting Nick. I never said that. I wouldn't have said it to you. And Amy is like, nope, you said it. It got back to me. He's like, from who? From Stephanie? She's kind of like, oh, yeah, I guess it. I mean, it doesn't sound like she's lying. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so for a second, that added a little bit of a suspicion for me as to what if Nick wins this and just says, okay, now who's targeting me again? But, we didn't get that far down the weeds.
But okay, what if we did? What if we did? Do you think that Nick would have taken Rob out?
I think he still would have done
that. But I wouldn't have wanted him to. Yeah,
no, of course not.
It gave me a second option of hope in this scenario. That wasn't just rooting against Nick.
It was interesting though, because Rob was then sort of trying to be play like good cop to hey, Nick, they're lying to you. Hey, whatever you do, it wasn't me. Yeah, it
was his last appeal. He's like, Nick's about to beat the banker, and if Nick beats the banker, I think the last words he heard from me was like, Nick, remember the good times? We're in two different alliances, but you and we're pretty good together. And also, Rob, like I said, if he was playing very aggressive, Nick would be under the impression that Rob would take him to the end. It's like, Nick, we're the biggest threats. We need to stick together because they're going to come after us eventually, like that kind of thing. So this was Rob doing the soft sell and then nah, just know it wasn't me, babe. Because it wasn't me. And this Stephanie chick, she does this all the time. She did this with Alyssa. She did it, now this, we don't, but she ain't got good vibes. Let's get her. Again, I'm rooting for maximum chaos and drama. So Nick randomly flipping on Stephanie because he can't determine if she made up the lie about Ross and Rob or not. Peak TV, give me that.
Yep.
I don't think we ever would have gotten it, but it's a nice idea, and it was nice for us to have another possibility here. But I truly think that what Rob did with Nick there isn't yes, that's what you do to at least try to save yourself in a potentially extremely back against the wall situation, but he's telling the truth and he's just defending himself. And I know of these people that he's against that Rob has the most affection for Nick, and he truly does. I think that that's just what he would do no matter what in that situation, being like, hey, if you win and this goes your way, buddy, I just want you to know, if you're going to eliminate me, I don't want you to think that I was actually coming after you, because I truly wasn't. And that's the truth for him. And there was a point we might be forgetting where Nick was one of the people that people were attributing to the Rob mob. And
very
he
early on.
kind of, so I think of all these people left, Nick, and even when they're on opposite sides, we saw them with the tea last week. Like, you know, I truly think that yeah, when they were trying to do the stand-up paddleboard thing and they sucked ass at it, it was really cute and fun. Like, they have a fun little relationship, and I do believe that Rob likes Nick, and it's just like they kind of fumbled him and lost him to the other people, and that's just what happened. But you know, Rob did what he had to do there, and I don't even think that that was game. That was him just being like, bro, I never actually said that, and I think he literally says it to Aaron after the whole back and forth between him and Stephanie, where he says, you're the most deceptive person here, but apparently you're the only person who's never done anything wrong here, calling her out on some of the hypocrisy. And he says to Aaron, he's like, I'm still going. Like, he knows that and so to me, that's not him trying. Like, of course you hope that maybe you're convincing Nick that like this girl is actually lying. But I think that for him, it was more of a moral thing where he was like, no, I've never been against Nick. Like, this is not about him at all. And I never said that.
Yep. Hopefully Nick is still going to be able to have that supper at his house.
Yeah.
Boston Rob, Joe Manganiello. Yeah.
Oh,
ravioli.
What a great dinner that would be.
Joe is really who we need to be looking at as who has been inciting all these riots on this dang show, because it's Joe's questioning that get these people talking. It really is. Because why Nick is like, this comes up. It's just Joe's kind of like, Nick, so what's been going on? Well, you ready for this? And Nick's like, yeah, I heard my name's been coming up. So I guess it's like, wait, well, hold on, your name's been coming up? It's like everybody's like, whoa, hold on, I didn't say your name. If it wasn't for Joe, I don't think Nick just says it. If Joe gets up there and says, all right, Nick, ready to play? I think Nick still might have said it. Yeah, now that I think about it, I'm talking it through. I do feel like Nick probably was a little, like his feelings were probably hurt because Rob is his friend. And he looks at Rob as his friend. And so the moment he heard Rob said his name, he's like, now we're going to get to the bottom of this because what? So I need to let you know that
stirring the pot of sauce, getting ready.
Yeah. That's why it's your ass. Yeah, it's your ass now. You didn't, this was a personal thing for Nick. And so once he realizes, okay, this is kind of cloudy, I kind of believe Rob. I think he still targets Rob, but I like to live in a world where maybe the chaotic move is made and he does like, all right, Stephanie, I don't trust you. Because at this point, I think it's really hard to trust Stephanie. If your name is not Amy, you should not trust her at all.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe not even if you're Amy.
And maybe not if you're Amy.
All right. Nick is going to pick case number 9 that we hear the story about that his wife's brother passed. That was his baseball number 9. We see how Nick is doing, and kind of a mixed bag. He opens up $5 million right off the start, but then he's got a lot of the low cases. He hits a $4 million also, which right at the end says like a gut punch before he opens up for his wife's August 1st birthday. My happy anniversary to me and the First Lady of Podcasting.
I thought of you. I thought of you when I heard that because I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Rob Nicole's anniversry.
Yep, $100.
Did you notice that Nick's fiance? I don't know if they've gotten married since. Her name is Nicole. It's Nick and Nicole.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he said my fiance Nicole.
Okay,
I thought that was pretty cute.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. Nick and Nicole.
It's not. That's kind of dope. Go y'all. Name the kids Nictoria.
Victoria. Okay. All right. Banker calls up. Jenny, what do you think about the banker allegedly shading Nick as a man who wears man pearls?
Well, I did take note of the beautiful pearl necklace
pearl necklace
Nick was adorned with. I mean, I feel like Banker's Island is like a little bit more like puka shell style, and like I definitely feel like I could see like because everything like Y2K is coming back, or are we already past that? I can't keep track. But I feel like I could see Nick in the puka shell necklace, giving Hollister, but he was straight up wearing pearls, and I've never seen this before. And listen, I am team jewelry doesn't need to be gendered. Wear whatever. And it's true. I don't think I've ever seen.
Are you saying cancel the banker?
No, I'm not saying that, Rob. if anything, I'm saying, well, I mean, he did try to kind of make it like you're not a man because you're wearing pearls. Like he did get like a little toxic.
The banker hates to lose to a man wearing man pearls.
Yeah. So I actually, you're right. Maybe we do cancel the banker. He has a little toxic masculinity. But to his defense, I personally have never seen pearls on a man before. Or at least not a man of Nick's like beefy,
stature.
like, you know what I mean? And then these like beautiful, like dainty pearls that are like so pretty. It was the juxtaposition of like this like big man and then like this like
Jenny, you okay?
I'm fine. I'm excellent. I love it actually. Like it was a daring, beautiful fashion choice that I had never seen before. Trendsetter. But yeah, the banker is just like, I don't want to lose to a man wearing man pearls, which to me says that he thinks that it's fun.
Just pearls, banker.
It's just pearls. They're just pearls, okay?
Hey, man pearl's been a thing for a minute. They've been coming back for a while, and then I think they finally hit like their peak popularity like in 2022, 2023. But yeah, like even in the aughts, the people were like starting to slip the man pearls on. So yeah, this wasn't
in the jungle. It just doesn't seem like the kind of necklace you
listen, okay, it is not jungle wear. Yeah,
let these people live. Let them wear a man pearls and a Q skirt. Okay.
Yeah, look. I thought it was cool. Pearl necklaces never went out of style out here. You know what I'm saying? Like I
couldn't take my eyes off of it. But it was, to me, I was like, because aren't pearls kind of like soft? Like they're kind of like a soft, like very easily damaged material. And I just thought that was an odd choice. But it's not like he was wearing it for an excursion. He put on his finest pearls for
I put your bling on
the temple. So I respect the move, and he went out looking like an absolute
banker respects bling.
Yeah.
He said that was a daring choice.
And the banker does like that as well. Yeah, no, he wore the pearl necklaces last week too, and so it's like,
I did not notice it last week.
Yeah, it's been his thing for a second. Okay. But yeah,
maybe I thought they were puka shells last week.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't as like big on the screen.
Yeah, I think it's one of those just like he's a big dude, so he's like, he kind of gets you like, it kind of softens the look. I like it. I thought it was pretty cool. The banker, he's not toxic. He's just old. That's all.
And is that giving us more clues for who the banker is?
Gotcha. No, that is a good point.
Like we need to, because I mean, that's one of the biggest blind sides that we've got left in this game is who is the banker. So
we know the banker is old and he only travels by helicopter. We learned that in this episode as well.
And he's got children.
He doesn't like children. Doesn't like pearls. Yeah. So, but we're by the end of this, it's gonna be like claim to fame. We're gonna have to make a guess of who the banker is. Maybe that's the last challenge.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, they should really pull that in.
Like a claim to fame. Yeah.
Make them guess who the clue wall is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the banker, he has a deal, $983,000. It's not a great deal. There's only one case that's lower than that, but 3 are higher. So 25% chance for Nick to stay. He says, no deal. Okay. He goes back to work. Opens up 2 more cases, $750 and the $1 million case, and gets the biggest offer in Deal or No Deal history. And this is interesting because it's that the 2 cases left, I believe it's $4,250,000 and $4,500,000.
Yes.
The deal from the banker ends up being $4,417,000. Flip a coin. He's going to stay or he's going to go. Either way, we get a big amount put into the final prize pot. We basically double the final prize pot. We talked about this earlier. Just a wild decision. We saw it in the first episode. Aaron got it down to 2 cases. And he did the thing that you do in this spot. Like, I got here with this case. I'm opening this case.
Yeah, because and these are 2 very close together cases where it's like, it's a 50-50, but it's like such a small margin that it's like, how do you feel good about 4.25 and 4.5. Like, at that point, it's just so, to me, like, I'm sorry. I know that there are people way smarter than me, but I truly just don't think that there's any situation where you're like, this was the optimal move or this was the optimal move. There are two very large, two cases left. The deal is in the middle of it, and it's one or the other. The only thing that was confusing about it was the way that he explained what he did. And that was like, you would think that maybe you just say, I think I got the higher one.
But it's not like a Monty Hall problem or anything, right, Chappell? If you get down to this point, you have to just open the case that you got there with.
Right.
Well, because it's like you picked that case first because that was the case that you wanted. So it's like you get there, you get presented with this, and you're like, dang, I wanted this case, but now I don't feel like this case. Like, don't second guess yourself. I'd much rather you go out and say, this is the case I picked. I just had bad luck, as opposed to you picked a case, you had great luck, and you gave your luck away because you folded. You know, it's like, I don't like that. Like, because that, like I said, that probably puts the onus on you a little bit more, right? Like, had you just done nothing, essentially, like, nope, the whole time, that's the case you take, you win the game. But he's like, deal, never mind. Here's the case that got me to this point. Take it.
He just
like, damn. I think he wanted to hit the button, but I also think he didn't want to blame the case. I do. I really think that he was like, damn, this case means a lot to me. And if I lose this and I say, this is the case that is going to take me to the promised land, it means so much to me, to my family. It's the number. I'm hoisting it above. And then it, like, you open it and it's the wrong thing. You're like, damn. From my heart just like dropping to the ground, all you would hear is like, damn, I really thought this was the case. Like, I picked this case because it meant so much to me.
No matter what, he's making a decision, so he takes the blame no matter what. And so I would think that if you don't want to like blame the case or want to believe that the case is doing the best possible thing for you, then you would assume that it's the higher amount. I do think that it's different if one of the two cases left was the 5 million, that like the actual highest. And if you're going to get like superstitious about it and you're like, the 5 million is still out there, and I feel very, very like sentimental and strong about the number that I picked, and I truly think that I have the $5 million, case here. I think when you get down to the second and third highest cases, and they're so close in value, it just kind of it literally is a dice roll, and I can't really fault him either way. It was just kind of an interesting way that he phrased it. And this is exactly what we talked about last week, where it's like everyone's cheering. He's eliminating all these small numbers, and look at the position he got himself in. Yes, he got a crazy offer, but the banker spent money last week on Dawson and did not make Nick a personal offer to save him any money. He would have been better off opening all these freaking giant cases, getting a shittier offer and taking it. Well, I guess no, then it wouldn't have.
No, because he's still lost.
Saying, I guess he would have been screwed no matter what. But I'm just saying, like, with the information that he had, like, it would have been better for him, I guess, to open up lower.
He had a high case, so ultimately the only way he could have won was to play it all the way through. Like, once he opens up the $5 million case first. From that moment on, the only way he can beat the banker is to open every other suitcase and then keep the one he has in his hand.
But this is what I really mean, because obviously, like, you can't change the case that you picked at this point, and but I'm saying how this played out reinforces what you've been saying a lot, Rob, and I agree with that. You should not be hoping that you got a high value in your case.
Yes, you should be. Yes.
And then you open a ton of big ones.
The best case to open is a penny. That's it. And then basically, take any deal you can't lose.
Right. Yeah. There's so many offers the banker can make you if you have this high ass case in your hand. And it's like, so now it has to come down to a conflict. Whereas, like, if you have $100 and the banker offers you 150, go. Yeah, take it, whatever. It's $150. Like, he'd have to literally offer you $50 for you to lose. You know, so I totally understand.
So very
I just feel like one last thing I wanted to say about this was that, like, it's wild to me that in previous weeks when things were getting to the point where like we're going to see a big offer because of the cases that are left here, and we get these personal offers from the banker who doesn't want to spend that much money, like is worried. I guess at this point it's like it's the final offer, he's spending the money anyway. But I just thought it was interesting at the point of the first offer I really thought we might get another personal offer based on the cases that were left for Nick, because it was 750, or was it the last one he opened was like 750, and then it was like
750 and $1 million were on the board also.
It's like, I feel like at that point he knows he's dropping a lot of money, and he just got out of it with Dawson by spending $100K. And it's like, I thought there was a chance that maybe Nick was also going to get an offer here. How pissed are you if you're Nick and you're like, okay, worst case scenario, we're getting down to maybe he'll just offer me some money for
like, hey, Joe, give me the phone. Joe, give me the phone. Hello, banker, 100 mil, 150, 250. Okay, I'll step for $75K. $7,000. Like I would just be like bargaining for $2,000. I swear I'm out. Just $500, something, anything. He's like, nah, take it.
Well, I feel like you've come around. You were like last week, you're like, I will gamble to the death. And here but that's the thing, is like, this is a really hard situation to be in for Nick. Like really, really difficult. I think at like that point, you take any money.
Yeah, definitely. Well, no, look, I definitely don't think I would gamble to the death. I'm taking the money every time. But I definitely felt like for Dawson, and even for Nick, even here, ride it out. You know, like, don't get me wrong, you need the money, that's fine. Take the money, you win in your own way, because everybody else is going to lose. But if Nick survives this round and takes out Rob, I think Nick's fine for a little bit. I think Aaron's in theory the next target, but Jordan's probably before him too. You know, he could potentially win immunities all the way out. You know, so that's what I was like, you know, maybe don't take the personal offer, but I would definitely been looking for one.
Dawson still had to have competed with Nick. And also, the prize pot had basically doubled since,
at that point,
$8 million playing for $8 million. And you have 1 in 5
different
chance.
Decision for Nick. And I still think that Dawson, Dawson made a great decision. I think, given the situation he was in, but it's harder for Nick here because. It's like, I don't know. It's just so hard. I'm so bird in hand that I'm like, give me money. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Like, it's hard for me to think about like risking it here. But you're right. If like 1 in 5 chance when you're Nick and Rob is now out of the competition, conceivably, that's a whole different like probability situation than Dawson was in. But
it's 8 million today, Jenny. But Jenny, it's 8 million today. There's still essentially at least one more challenge left. Like, it's doubled since last week when Dawson had it. It could double again. You could be going for $16 million by the end of this.
You have to keep upping the ante. So
the difference also between Dawson and Nick is that Rob was safe last week, right? Rob had immunity, so it would have been
Dawson couldn't get rid of
if he stayed. He still has to contend with Rob. He still has to contend with Nick.
He eliminates Aaron there, and that doesn't do much for him.
If Nick stays and comes through this, Rob is gone, and now basically he has a 1 in 5 chance, and the other 4 people are Amy, Stephanie, Jordan, and Aaron. He's looking pretty good here.
Yeah, no, you're right. He probably shouldn't, and maybe wouldn't have taken. I don't know. Depends on what the personal offer was, but I just feel like. Oh my God, that coin flip is so tricky, where at least like when you're making a decision where it's like 25-75 kind of situation in terms of like where the offer is sitting, like that's a rough place to be.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So very sad moment for Nick, that he's out of it. He's eliminated. Joe tells us, okay, the tests are going to get more ruthless, but Rob and Stephanie, Chappell, it was something that got kicked off back in episode number 1. Rob didn't trust Stephanie. He tells us at the end of the episode, I'm going to make sure no matter what, Stephanie's not going to win.
Yeah. We've never seen this side of Boston Rob before. You know, we've seen a lot of Boston Rob in a lot of positions as far as playing different social strategy games or whatever, but we've never seen him to the point where he's like, screw winning. My win condition is beating you. Like that. This is the time. Yeah, this is you, Jenny. You know this spoke to me. This was the time where me and Rob aligned. It was like the first. I was like, I'm a Boston Rob stan now. This is what I've been waiting for because that's my energy. It's literally like, no, I'm going to lose this game, but I guarantee you will not win this game. I will make sure of it. I was like, ooh, yeah, more of that. So I need Stephanie to survive one more round.
It's a rare position for Rob. As a 5-time Survivor player, he's only been on the jury once. In Winners at War, spoilers for all of Survivor.
But who wasn't on the jury in Winners at War? Stop it.
Yeah, but it's interesting. It's interesting that somebody who's played so much has only one time had to even cast a vote for a winner. And so it's not really a position where that he's been in many times before in his storied reality
really
TV career.
How he
he doesn't end up in these spots where he's back against the wall and it's against this huge overarching alliance, except it's like the Marquesas. Don't get me wrong, he had some rough waters and Winners at War for sure, but it's not the same as I'm fighting for my life every round and there's nothing I can do to, like, I'm just getting lucky at this point because the Nick thing, that's luck. There was nothing, like, if Rob had pulled that off, it would have been a masterstroke because all signs were pointing to, like, if Nick wins this, you're gone. And everything had gone wrong to that point to put him in that position. You know, like, at the Marquesas, he's out before he can even start to formulate a counterattack. You know, like, he doesn't even realize he's playing Survivor yet. By the time he hits, All Stars, it's him and his wife, his future wife. You know, Heroes vs. Villains, he doesn't make the merge. You know, so we just never seen him in a part where he's basically Sandra. He's basically like, nah, I'm gonna throw the fish. I'm gonna burn your hat. I'm gonna do all the things. Like, you got me, but I'm not going quietly. And I was like, yes, this is what I love. Yeah, like he's gonna make up a good lie. Like just start doing Sandra quotes. I need Sandra to call him and be like, see, that's what I've been trying to tell you. Like, oh yeah, okay, I get it now. It's fun. Playing from the bottom seems awful, but also this kind of fun. The Arya Stark role. Take it.
It is a really fun arc for him. And I think that he's gotten to the point now where he's like, I know what I need to do to win, and it is literally just win and secure my own place. And beyond that, if it's not going to be me, I just want to make sure that it's someone I feel good about. And that's obviously Aaron first, and I would say probably Jordan next. And now Amy is probably third, and Stephanie has plummeted to the bottom of that list. And that's his like side quest here, or maybe the
main quest.
The side quest is trying to win. Look, the main quest is make sure they lose.
I know this energy. It's April. This is my month. The Aries is strong in me right now. I'm telling you, this is my energy. I'd be like, burn it down. I don't care. And if I win in the meantime, cool. If I don't, hey, Stephanie, you didn't win, and that's okay with me. I felt that energy. I was like, okay, Rob, I'm all in. Rob for the win. Take it all. Do it. And we'll be here in 3-4 weeks. Like, Rob did it. Oh my God, tears in our eye. Like, bro, can't wait.
It could still happen. We're at 5. Okay. It's crazy. I can't wait.
All right, anything else? Dondi, week 9.
Dondi.
We're doing it.
Isn't this
We're doing
so good? Yeah, the naysayers out there saying nay, stop saying nay. Start saying yay. This is a yay sayer show. This is a good show. Stop it.
Okay. All right. We'll be back in 1 week's time to talk about the next episode of Dondi. Chappell will talk with Nick tomorrow and find out what else is going on with him. Okay. All right. Jenny, what else is coming up for you?
Not much, Rob, as usual. Besides being stressed watching Dondi because I'm worried about Rob now. We're in the Stanley Cup playoffs now, and I'm a hockey girly, and I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, which means I am in hell. So when I'm not enjoying Dondi and podcasting with you guys, I'm probably just watching hockey and being in pain. So if you want to see me probably shout on Twitter about misfortunes of a Leafs fan, follow me at Jenny Autumn. And other than that, I'm just having a good time and vibing, and looking forward to seeing how Rob manages to win this. I don't know. Are we believing that? Is that what's happening here? I don't know.
What's your gut take? Does Rob win?
I think it's Rob, or it's gonna be Rob or Aaron, right? I just don't think that I can't
How
see
about
being
this?
Amy or
Okay.
Stephanie.
Is an Aaron win a Rob win?
Yes.
No.
I think it is.
No.
I think that you got that story tonight. I think that, and really the last 2 weeks, I feel like that Rob was telling us about how the relationship with Aaron is, more meaningful than other relationships he's had.
Mm-hmm. I think that it's a moral win for him and he feels good about it. But anyway.
From the story of the show, Chappell, you're not getting that?
No, boo, no. I hate moral victories. Boo. Call your victory what it is. Is your victory to beat Stephanie? Or is it for Aaron to beat you? Because I don't like that.
That's the first victory. And then
if Aaron beats you, you lose the game. You do not get to celebrate like you won. Aaron won. Do you hear me, Rob? Not you, Rob. Other Rob, Boston Rob. That is not the same. I'm not going to sit here and clap for you because Aaron won.
That's what I'm feeling is coming.
Yeah. The winner of this season is Jordan, because who the hell is coming after her?
Yeah.
That's it. She won.
Yeah.
I'm saying I feel like it's one of those three. And probably
I'm wondering if this is actually sort of like, and I know this is probably not the right room for this. Is this like a Star Wars where the Obi-Wan Kenobi has now taught Luke Skywalker the ways of the Force, and that Luke Skywalker is going to finish the job? Obi-Wan Kenobi, if you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you could ever imagine, Darth Stephanie, and that Aaron goes on to win the show. Aaron will appreciate this analogy.
There will be... I don't know. Chappell doesn't feel good about it.
I'm more the Han Solo.
I don't feel good about it as a victory for Rob. If this happens for Aaron, fine. Yeah, Aaron, you did it. You did it, King. We call it day one. We love you. You did it. You rose up and overcame all that kind of stuff. But Rob, you lost. And you don't get to say like, yeah, I pushed him to the... No. You do not. This man is a threat to you. All of these people are threats. Kill them. I mean, beat them. I'm sorry. I get really riled up. Y'all, I'm a Slytherin. It's what I do. Sorry.
Really ignited that Aries flame within Chappell.
It's April.
Yeah. Oh, one last thing I wanted to say. Sorry. I have no plugs, but I wanted to mention, Rob, a couple weeks ago, you mentioned the White Lotus music. Yes. And I've noticed it, and I meant to mention it last week. I noticed it again this week. I am noticing the soundtrack is very White Lotus-y at certain points of the episode. I noticed it when like the night owls were having like their little like shit talking meeting. So I just wanted to say I definitely noticed it, and I'm like, does this mean something? Is this like some sort of edit where it's like, because I feel like White Lotus is like, these are all terrible people in their own way.
I didn't read that much into it.
Well, I don't know. That's because I noticed it in this episode being like played behind the night owls when they're having their little like, fest where they are kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like inserting value on something, but yes, I have heard the White Lotus music. It is real. It's happening. They share the same soundtrack, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
anyway,
Joe Manganiello for White Lotus season 3.
Oh my gosh. That would be so good. That'd be perfect.
Need that. Give me that. We need that.
Yeah.
All right. Chappell, what's coming up for you?
Talking about Sasha, about Below Deck live on YouTube on Wednesdays. It's been a great season of Below Deck, and we're having a great time in the live with the chat. So join us Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern to talk about that. And also just subscribe to the Bravo Wrap-Ups feed to catch all of me and Sasha's Bravo coverage. Also, we got Nothing But Netflix going, where every week we're talking about Netflix shows. That's always a great time. Rob and I are still talking about Survivor on Club Condo, and this last episode of Survivor was a doozy. So hopefully you check out that Club Condo and enjoy it. It's going to be a good time. Also over at recapkickback.com, you got more Sasha and me talking about Bravo shows. We're talking about Summer House, Martha's Vineyard. Gia and I are talking about Abbott Elementary every other week as well. And then Mari, Tyrone, and I just dropped our review of the new Netflix animated series, Good Times, Black Again. And so it was an interesting show and it's a very interesting podcast. So check that out at recapkickback.com or go to youtube.com/@recapkickback to subscribe. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, show your boy some love. And then be sure to check out my exit interviews every week with the eliminated contestant from Deal or No Deal Island.
Yeah.
They're so
Really
good.
appreciate our audience here for talking about Deal or No Deal Island here on the Hit or Quit podcast. I feel like that we've gotten, a really nice amount of feedback from the listeners. And so we love to hear from you. We love to hear that you're enjoying Dondi too. So love to get your thoughts. The YouTube comments have been really, really fun. So appreciate that. Thank you for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.